Welcome back, all man. That music always gets me, that classic WrestleMania music. I am your host, Mr. A&E, back with the retro reviews. Like I said, every day since Monday, I have been doing a WrestleMania from WrestleMania 10 going all the way down to WrestleMania 31. And well, today we have a very special WrestleMania to me and to my special guest, and also it was dubbed the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania, going by events, not going by year. So, but on me today on the show, because I know y'all been tired of hearing primetime, but today I have a very special guest, another one of my favorite wrestling YouTubers, Daniel GIZA. What's going on, man?
And see, it's great to be back on this channel, and it's great to be taking a look at a WrestleMania that to me is very special. As I was telling you before we went on the air here, WrestleMania 25 holds a very special place in my heart. This was the first pay-per-view that I ever ordered as a wrestling fan, so I look forward to taking a look back.
Oh yes, I agree with you too, because this was honestly one of my believe it or not, favorite WrestleManias. A lot of people did not like it, but there were certain things that I liked about it. I'm pretty sure you can agree on the same thing, what we liked the most about it. But of course, we will all, in due time get to that. But yeah, the year is 2009, and then Randy Orton wins the Royal Rumble that year to go on the main event Triple H, and then of course we have the whole feud with the wrestler Mickey Rourke and Chris Jericho. We have the brother blood feud. So there's just a lot of things going on in this 25th anniversary of WrestleMania. So why not kick it off like they did the year? This is the first year that this was the kickoff match. I'm not talking about pre-show. I'm talking about the first match. Was the Money in the Bank ladder match with CM Punk versus Kane, Mark Henry, MVP, Shelton Benjamin, Kofi Kingston, Christian, and Finlay with Hornswoggle. This was actually the coming out party of Kofi Kingston, who just came the year before, so he was in this match showing a lot of athletic spots. Christian was in here doing the whole veteran thing, which I did like about that. Shelton Benjamin was in here doing most of the spots as he usually is, and of course, the returning of Kane and Mark Henry. Actually liked them kind of in this match. But before we get to who won the match, overall, this list of wrestlers that was in this match, so how'd you, being the first time ordering the pay-per-view, how did you enjoy it and, seeing what the Money in the Bank was all about?
I really enjoyed this match. It was just a great way to get the crowd into it. High-flying, high-octane spots. I remember Shelton Benjamin doing that senton bomb up the top of the ladder onto his opponent. Shelton Benjamin, I swear, every time he was in this match, I was afraid he was going to kill himself. That's how much of a risk he took.
He came close.
But, he did. This is the one I thought, oh shit, he's going to be out. He's going to be injured. But one thing I wanted to mention here, kind of getting off topic, but if Shelton Benjamin, when he comes back to WWE, I hope he returns in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Just saying. For the Smackdown pay-per-view, that would be a great way for him. Seeing as how he's always had these great moments, that would be the perfect place for him to come back. He's coming back, so. Oh yes. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Oh no. So you can throw anything you want out here, because I agree with you on that one, because I miss Shelton Benjamin actually, and I thought he was actually a very underrated performer.
He was. Man, he was phenomenal. Like, out of that class from OVW, what was it, the 2000 with Lesnar, Orton, Batista, Cena, that was a stacked class. But Shelton was probably the best pure athlete, as they said, out of that class, and he was great. He was great in this match.
I do agree with that. And then also, Kane and Mark Henry did not do as bad as I thought they was going to do. They did a nice little spot, party in the Red Sea with the ladders. Mark Henry like he was going to do a dive out the ring spot. Thank God he did not. Finlay hits him with the shit later. And then little Hornswoggle gets a little tadpole splash out there in the ring. So there was a lot of good spots in this matchup. I did not really know that CM Punk was going to be the one to repeat from the year before. And honestly,
that was shocking.
It was. And when CM Punk won this match, it was actually to a mixed crowd. There was some, cheers, and there was some boos also from him going back to back. And then, with that happening, and like I said, I knew Kofi wasn't going to win it, but this was his coming out party, and the stuff that he was doing in that match also was very innovative, and I just enjoyed it all. But CM Punk wins for the second time in a row, clocking in almost 15 minutes. How did you enjoy the opening match and the results of CM Punk winning this match again?
Well, as you know, I am a huge fan of CM Punk. I've been a fan of CM Punk since I first started watching. At that time, I knew he would get, somehow I knew he'd get to the top because he was talented. He had the talent, he had the wrestling ability, he had the charisma. So him winning back-to-back, at the time I was unsure of it, seeing as how what happened in his 2008 Money in the Bank cash-in, his championship run, that flopped. But you look at where this led to, and to the cash-in, and then to his feud, ultimately with Jeff Hardy, which I felt that's what put Punk on the map, to that next level. So I thought, looking back on it now, yeah, it was the right decision.
I have to agree with you because I think that him winning this year made more sense than him winning the year before.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he had a way better run in 2009 with the World Heavyweight Champion, like you said, with Jeff Hardy, than he did in 2008 because they just took it off of him and, they had the whole injured with Orton angle. So,
yeah.
That was, that's what it was. So that was the opening match. So it got me excited when I was watching WrestleMania 25. And then this has been an ongoing trend that Vince McMahon has liked to do since, I would say, WrestleMania X8 or 18, which is we get these big celebrities and we get these musical artists and we got to make it like a Super Bowl where they got to come out and perform a medley of hits, or they got to come out and they got to perform all this music. So we got Kid Rock. Now, I don't have a problem with Kid Rock. Do you have a problem with Kid Rock, Dave?
Not one of my favorites, but he's got some songs I like,
Exactly. That's like I said, I don't have a problem with Kid Rock. I mean, he sung Undertaker's theme song. My problem is how he did a whole medley of his songs to the point where that it went over the Miss WrestleMania's Divas Battle Royal match, and to that point, the women,
Yeah, they made their entrances during the songs.
During the songs.
Who are they? I can't, you couldn't even tell who was who. It was just they're in the ring, Battle Royale time.
Exactly. So this was supposed to be the dub that all legendary women will come back for this Battle Royal. Now, for those of you who did not get a chance to pay attention to the women that was in there and they kept getting eliminated too fast, I got the names. It was Layla, Joy Giovanni, Rosa Mendez, Alicia Fox, Sunny, Tori Wilson, Jackie, Maria, Gail Kim, Jillian Hall, Eve Torres, Tiffany, Kelly, Molly Holly, Maurice, Kaylee Burchill, Natalia, Victoria, Brie Bella, Nikki Bella, Mickey James, Michelle McCool, Melina, and Beth Phoenix as the legitimate women that was in that match. And to be honest, after looking at this list, damn, I didn't even know half them was in that match.
That says something else about how they entered. It was baffling.
It was baffling, and what sucks is that we're at WrestleMania, and we look at what WrestleMania has, been doing since WrestleMania 32, and been focused more on the women's championship matches at WrestleMania. We don't even have that here. We just have a lame battle royal where Santina Marella, who his twin sister Santina, is in the match and ends up winning the whole damn thing. Me personally, wow. This was a slap in the face to, first of all, if I know Emma lost in 30 seconds to that match and that started the Divas Revolution, honestly, this moment right here should have really started the Women's Revolution, in my personal opinion. Your thoughts on this?
Bad.
Yeah, this starts with terrible battle royal.
I have one sentence. It was a giant waste of time. That's it. That's the best way you can. I can't remember anything from it. I just remember this Kid Rock perform. It went on and on and on and on and on. Yet we couldn't have the unifying match for the tag team championships. I've never seen that match. I don't know if it was good or not, but it probably was. And that was bumped to the pre-show actually. So that was, instead of doing this Kid Rock medley, you could have cut that out, given the women their entrances, and then had the tag title match on the main show, as it should have been,
Yes, I do agree. First of all, on a side note, do you agree with pre-show matches?
Well, nowadays, it's different because we have the network. Back then, it was different, so...
Yeah.
Nowadays, I'm okay with it, but if you asked me back then, we couldn't there was no way of watching that match, It would... Nobody, unless you were there, of course.
Of course, yeah. I just feel as though that sometimes that they have too many musical performances, or sometimes they take time away for doing useless stuff, that the matches that really could mean something could actually be on the show.
Sure, more time to the wrestlers who are. It's called WrestleMania for a reason.
Exactly. So, but that's what it's grown to. But yeah, so to me, the battle royal was 7 minutes too long. It felt disgraceful. I felt bad for the actual woman that came back to, compete in it, but it was sad. So, moving on. Have you ever seen the movie The Wrestler, Daniel?
No, I have not.
First of all, The Wrestler is a pretty good movie. I recommend you check it out. It starred Mickey Rourke, and Mickey Rourke has get critical acclaim, and Chris Jericho didn't like the acclaim that Mickey Rourke was getting for this movie, saying, "You're not a true wrestler, you don't know what the life of a wrestler is." Well, with Chris Jericho disrespecting Ric Flair, he decided to get 3 of his friends to teach Jericho a lesson. The 3 friends that he picked were Ricky Steamboat, Roddy Piper, and the late Jimmy Snuka. Now, individually, Chris Jericho beat them on Raw and on the Smackdowns leading up to WrestleMania. But at WrestleMania, we're going to get a handicap elimination match between Jericho taking on these 3 legends. Now, Chris Jericho is my second favorite wrestler of all time. And I felt as though, in my opinion, he could have had a more meaningful role at WrestleMania. But as the way the match turned out, I kind of, in a weird way, kind of enjoyed it. Before we get into, what happened and the results, how did you feel about this match being set up in the storyline leading into it?
I kind of, from what I can remember, because it's been, 8 years ago? Wow.
Yes, time is flying.
Yes, it is. I was okay with it going in, seeing as how the match played out afterwards and what happened the pay-per-view the next month. What was it, Backlash? Or what? I think they did it. They still had Backlash. Yeah. When Jericho took on Steamboat in a really good match, I didn't see it, but I heard it was really good. What they should have done here with Jericho, there were 2 scenarios. I like doing this, playing devil's advocate. Yes. What if it was just Chris Jericho versus Ricky Steamboat? Have the match you had the month before on WrestleMania, which is what they probably, because Steamboat, we didn't know he could still go, and boy did he go. I mean, the stuff with Piper and Snuka was just boring to watch, but it should have just been Jericho Steamboat one-on-one. Or what about, you mentioned doing something else with Jericho. What about Jericho versus Rey Mysterio for the IC title? I don't know.
I would have enjoyed it, especially they had the whole rivalry for the IC title later on that year.
So something, like I said, those 2 scenarios I would have liked to have seen versus what they ended up doing. It was just okay.
Yeah, I agree with you, because honestly, there were other legends I felt as though that maybe they could have, scraped the barrel to try to find other than Jimmy Snuka. Because Jimmy Snuka could barely walk.
It was bad.
It was really bad. He had lost all muscle mass. He looked like a Tim Burton creation. And Roddy Piper was wrestling in his t-shirt. And you know what the old school says about the t-shirt. If you got no body, if you wrestling in a t-shirt. So, honestly, Chris Jericho beat Roddy Piper with an insecurity, took him out. And then a terrible attempt at the walls of Jericho on Snuka and a bad tap. I was just like, okay, we got the 2, I hate to call legends jobbers, but we got the 2 jobbers out the way. And now we had a one-on-one with Ricky Steamboat. And yes, Ricky Steamboat has showed that he could, 1, still sell, and 2, really still go at it. And people were really, really shocked about it. And that's what I enjoyed them having a match at Backlash, because I don't think, if people just said Ricky Steamboat, I don't know if they felt as though they could still had gone. But this match was like about 9 minutes long, 8 minutes and 32 seconds to be exact, and the majority of it was Ricky Steamboat in that match. But he got a cold breaker. Jericho picks up the win here, and him doing his heel attack as Mickey Rourke comes out of the audience and gives him a strong left. He does Mike Tyson to Shawn Michaels that he did to Jericho. So
I did not like that. I thought the punch looked terrible. The whole thing came off as bad. I did not like Rourke. I don't know. It was just, I was not a fan of that ending.
I know, I 100% agree with you, because I really enjoyed more of, like, remember when Hugh Jackman hit Dolph Ziggler?
Sure.
Yes.
And that was better. This just, I remember watching it at the time thinking, ew, that looked awful.
Exactly. So I agree. So I was like, okay, well, WrestleMania had a very, very long bathroom break. So now I think it's time to, finally, you got your funnel kick, you got your drink, you release your bowels. Now it's time to get back to WrestleMania. And to get back into WrestleMania is a brother versus brother matchup. Now, before WrestleMania even happened, they were dubbing this to be the next Owen Hart versus Bret Hart matchup. This was the next Undertaker versus Kane. I was like, y'all got big shoes to fill.
See, I thought it was good, but you don't hype it up to that level. Don't put it up there if it's not going to deliver. You know what I mean? If you're not going to say, that puts them at a disadvantage. It really did.
It definitely did. Now, me personally, if they did not try to compare it to some of the other great brother matches, I felt as though that the storyline was great because they used, the truth in it, because Jeff Hardy obviously was having the drug problems. His house burned down. He lost his dog, and that was like it tugs on the heartstrings. And Matt Hardy in storyline says, you know what? That was all me. I burnt your house down. I killed your dog, and because I'm like, Jesus, Matt. All right, I thought we was a PG era.
Okay, I guess not.
So Matt Hardy does all that to Jeff Hardy, and Jeff Hardy is showing that he can be extreme as well. So now at WrestleMania, we get an Extreme Rules match between Matt and Jeff Hardy. Like, I have to agree with you, Daniel. The match was a solid good, but it could have been better. But I think the pressure that people put on it also brought it down because it didn't, live up to the expectations that everybody wanted to live up to. But if you took all that out, there were a couple things I like. Like, first of all, the whisper in the wind, and Matt Hardy hits Jeff Hardy in the legs with the steel chair. I love that. I love that drop kick in the corner with Matt Hardy in the trash can. I enjoyed the splash, the double tables. I enjoyed Jeff missing through, that springboard off those two ladders, and the twist of fate inside the chair. There were good spots in this match. They did not juice because now WWE is in full PG mode right now. But Daniel, your thoughts on the match before I get into, of course, who won the match?
I actually enjoyed this match. I feel like it was solid. It was one of the better matches on this show, considering what we had to sit through the last two matches, which I wasn't really that much of a fan of. So I thought this was a good, solid match between two brothers. What I would have liked to have seen is just give them, maybe 5 more minutes to give them more time. Like, I felt like the match was going, and then it just kind of ended. It only went 13:39 or something like that, 38.
Yeah. So
it was a good match, but I wanted to see more, and I do like it though. I do like to go back and watch this match.
Yeah, so I agree with you. It was under too much pressure, but Matt Hardy pushed Jeff Hardy's neck into the chair in a sick twist of fate. Jeff Hardy sold that wonderfully, and Matt Hardy beats Jeff Hardy, and the rivalry does go on down to Backlash and to Smackdown and things of that nature. But to get the rivalry started, I enjoyed it for what it was. It started to get WrestleMania back on track for me.
Yes.
And then I realized I had to go to the bathroom again because coming up next, we got a singles match for the prestigious, might I add, Intercontinental Championship between JBL and Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio, first off, is coming out supporting his Joker gear because The Dark Knight was really hot after the year that it came out, the year before. So I can understand, doing something special for WrestleMania like that. And JBL, you know what? Because I kind of tuned this match out of my history book, but he was talking some trash on the mic, and then he attacks Rey Mysterio before the bell even rings. But then, what the hell? The bell rings, 619, Rey Mysterio beats JBL for the Intercontinental Championship in 21 seconds, and JBL gets back on the mic and says, "I quit." Now, Daniel, you saying this being your first pay-per-view that you bought, and this is your second bathroom break of the night so far, I want to know, are you still with me on the wrestler so far, or you almost gave up?
Oh, man, what was this? This was just... I mean, I knew going into this there were rumors of JBL retiring, and I thought, maybe after this match he would call it quits. Little did I know that I would literally only have to blink my eyes a couple times and this match would be over. And the legendary Trip Bradshaw, he didn't trip this night, but he went, I quit! 999! 999! Michael, my God, get me out of here! So, this was it for JBL. This was his last match, and boy, what a match it was. I'll never forget it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know you're supposed to go out on your back, but I mean, I thought you were supposed to go out on your back at least close to a 5-star classic.
This was baffling. I was like, okay, whatever. Moving on. It's just like, and I'm glad because what came next was amazing.
Yes. And you know, amazing is a word that we throw around, but you know what? This is probably the true definition of amazing. And I'm not just talking about the match. I'm talking about the story, the entrance, the ending, everything about this whole 40 minutes that's coming up was just amazing. And what I'm talking about for people out there who have not seen, or you should have, is The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. Mr. WrestleMania versus The Streak. It's like the immovable, you know what they call about Andre Hogan. That's what it's like. And the storyline is finally, Shawn Michaels finally gets out that, you know, slavery, quotation marks, with JBL at No Way Out, and he gets his name back. I hate that storyline anyway. So the one thing that the Heartbreak Kid has never done is face The Undertaker at WrestleMania. And now, of course, Shawn Michaels, being the born-again Christian, actually brought some of that into the storyline, saying that I'm from the heavens and I have been chosen to take out The Undertaker. And I enjoyed how the storylines, he comes out, he has, you know, the white smoke and he has the glow from the light and everything. So that played a huge part into the character. Now, coming to entrances, I thought it was dynamic. We could talk about all this in parts. So first, Shawn Michaels comes down from the rafters with all white on, with a white glow. So he's being sent from the heavens down to earth, and then it's just amazing sight to see. And of course, his sexy boy music comes. He gets to the ring, and the Undertaker comes up from the ground like he's coming from hell. And we're going to get a, you know, quotation, heaven on versus hell battle right here. So just the entrances alone, Daniel. How did this make you feel? Like, what was your reaction to that?
It felt like a big fight field. It felt like, well, this should have been the main event of this show, but it felt like a main event match of two of the greatest performers in the history of this business. Two of the best going into that ring, stepping inside, and about to do their craft in the best match that I personally have ever seen as a fan of professional wrestling. It was awe-inspiring. The entrances alone got you hyped for this match. And that was even before the match started. So wait till that happens.
Exactly. Wow. It almost sent like chills, because this is one of my favorite Undertaker entrances coming from the ground. Even though I still think the zombie one is the best one. But
yes.
Yeah. That was great. I will review that later on down the line. But so they get to the ring, and these guys, you know, just to stare down alone is like, I'm ready for this to go on. Undertaker's probably in some of the best shape he's ever been in, and Shawn Michaels is what is to say about is Shawn Michaels. And you know, the start of this match, there's a lot of holes. There's a lot of testing the strength and everything. I like the storytelling. They didn't just go right on into it, balls blazing. They actually told a story with a couple good grapple holds, and Shawn trying to get some of the early advantages of The Undertaker and not let him psych him out. I enjoy that kind of storytelling in the match. Do you agree with me on that?
Yes, I do too.
Yes. So, and then I have to go on to one of the big spots of the. We're probably almost midway into the match. Shawn Michaels goes for a moonsault on the outside and misses. Actually, that looked like it kind of hurt. Really just landing on the floor like that. But for people who don't know, do you remember the tag team Deuce and Domino?
No, I do not.
Okay, Deuce and Domino was kind of like, you know, like these 1950s greasers, you know, sit down at the malt shop, had the grease in their hair and the tight white t-shirts and the leather jackets kind of thing. So, well, Deuce from that tag team was the cameraman at this time. And he was supposed to catch The Undertaker when Shawn Michaels moved out the way. You follow me so far?
Mm-hmm.
So Undertaker goes on the ropes, and then he goes for the dive over the ropes that Undertaker usually does, but he's kind of short. and Deuce forgets to catch the Undertaker, and he lands square on his head to the outside, which is actually an indentation in the mat. What were your thoughts when you seen that first?
I can still visualize it. I can just see it playing over and over and over again. I'm like, Undertaker, that's it. He's done. He's broken his neck. There's no way that this man is getting up. I literally thought, oh, shit. I'm waiting for the ref to throw up that X sign. But somehow the Undertaker, man, he's incredible. I mean, and don't forget, this is the same guy who was engulfed in flames at Elimination Chamber the following year. So this guy is one of the toughest sons of bitches in the entire professional wrestling industry. I mean, it's incredible what he's been through and what he's done to get back up.
Yes, I agree. You explained that perfectly, because even I know today in present time, Undertaker is going against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. However, I still look back at that and still be scared for my life that he is really done. His career is over. That's how scary that move was.
Right.
But so like I said, we get back into matches that now they have picked up the pace a little bit with a lot of false finishes. Shawn Michaels hitting a super kick, of course, Undertaker kicking out. But I think one of the biggest things was Undertaker goes for a tombstone. And this is WrestleMania 25. The only time anybody kicked out of a tombstone before was Edge the year before. But it was all about the selling, and I have to probably give Kevin Dunn some credit on the directing of it, where he hits a tombstone on Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels kicks out right before the referee's hand hits the mat for 3, and the look on the Undertaker's face told the story of, I cannot believe Shawn Michaels kicked out of the tombstone, and I think even to this day they were never able to replicate that same moment. Do you agree with that?
It's an iconic moment. Undertaker had this look of bewilderment, like, what do I have to do to put down Shawn Michaels? You know, there was a sense of confusion and doubt inside of the mind of the Undertaker.
I agree, and to this day I was just like, oh my god, Shawn Michaels is going to actually win this match. That's what I really thought. I said, you know what, the streak is over tonight. It's over tonight, and I really think Mr. WrestleMania is going to take it. And he had me believing. He had the elbow from the top, his usual trademark elbow, the sweet chin music. It was so incredible. Like, my heart was beating towards the end, and then he went for one moonsault too many, and he got caught by the Undertaker and hit to a tombstone. 1, 2, 3. The Undertaker remains undefeated at WrestleMania. Now, obviously, this match is almost 10 years old. If there's any other emotions or any other things you want to point out, Daniel, please do.
This is a match that I can point back to and say, that's why I'm a fan of professional wrestling. From the entrances, to the stare downs, to the commentary, to the crowd. To me, this match was better than 26. 26 was good too, but just for me, this match was better. It was, when I want to watch a really good match, and I go back and watch this match, I can still get into the match. That's how much of a special place this match holds for me. Man, watching Undertaker at WrestleMania for the first time live on pay-per-view, that was a special moment, and I was like thinking, oh my god, is the streak gonna end? I love when they would do that. They'd have those moments, those spots in the match where you thought, that's it, that's got to be it, and they got that doubt inside of your own mind to think that, man, this might be the time, and then for Undertaker to always kick out and the crowd goes nuts, and just pure magic what these two were able to do in the ring that night.
I agree. It was a 30-minute classic that, like I said, I do have to agree with you. I think it was better than the one they had at 26. Not saying that 26 was bad. 26 was good. It was shorter, slightly shorter than what it was, and you kind of figured that Shawn Michaels was on his way out anyway. So this one felt more so like I really felt as though Shawn could have beat the streak this night. And I just feel sorry for the other 5 competitors, because there's no way you can follow this match.
No.
Afterwards, and the thing is, at least in my opinion, one of the matches did at least try.
Sure.
But I still don't think that it was able to, follow what happened with Shawn Undertaker. So after this match, we get obviously the 2 championship matches, which is right now. So coming up is a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship between John Cena versus Edge, who was a champion, and the Big Show. Now, to be honest with you, I actually enjoyed the match. I hated the storyline because I didn't like the whole Vicky Guerrero, Edge, and Big Show love triangle. Did I have to say that?
Yes.
Yeah, that was just like, okay, like if you open up Eddie's casket right now, you see his ass first because he definitely rolled over. And John Cena was just added to the mix because he's fucking John Cena at this time. So I thought the match was pretty good. The Big Show was made to look dominant. John Cena tries to go for the show tackle. Big Show, obviously ricochets him off of him. Edge. It was a okay triple threat match. It wasn't, of course, WrestleMania 20 triple threat match, but there was a great spot of John Cena going to the corner and lifting up both Big Show and Edge, which is a combine of close to 700 pounds.
That was nice.
On your shoulders. And now, Daniel, side note real quick, when John Cena picks up the Big Show or somebody big in the attitude adjustment or FU, however you want to call it, it seems like his left leg is tilted inward, and I have a fear that he's going to break his leg.
I never noticed that.
Yeah, if you look, like only when he picks up like the heavy guys, his left leg is like tilt inward, and I'm just like, I have a feeling it's going to be like a UFC type of snap, and I'm just like, I have fear for that, but that's what he did with the Big Show and Edge. So even though he only attitude adjust the Big Show, how did you like that spot? Because obviously they're showing it on all the video packages today.
It was a cool spot, seeing him pick up both guys. It's something that I remember from this match, which I thought it was a good match. But you're not going to. That's the problem. You have to. Another thing with these shows is you have to. Card structure can make or break a show, and I felt like after Taker Michaels, the show just steadily went downhill for me.
I personally agree. There's certain things you cannot follow. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But so John Cena attitude adjusts the Big Show, and then on top of that, Edge gets attitude adjusted right on top of the Big Show, and then Cena pins the Big Show 1, 2, 3, so that the Big Show, that John Cena wins the World Heavyweight Championship. Honestly, this is who I seen winning going into the match.
John Cena wins. LOL. 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 Woo!
Or as the teams are saying today, well, I don't know how that belt was in the air because I can't see him. So, but if you thought that couldn't follow Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, this main event damn sure couldn't follow anything, in my personal opinion, on this card. And you know what? God. This is what happens when you have a good story but a terrible match.
Really good story. I love the way that everything built up to this moment before the match happened was great. I mean, it was like, wow, this is personal.
It was. We even did the campy stuff with Triple H going into Randy Orton's home and throwing him out his front window.
It was campy, but you know what? I still remember that.
They're having Triple H handcuffed to the corner, him DDTing Stephanie, and then kissing her as she's laid out, and Triple H can't reach to him. And he's just getting close enough just for him to touch his nose. I felt the heat. I felt the anger, the passion, the hatred in that. So what do? Let's go out and have a regular match. And this is my problem. And you know what? Side note, Dan, I think you can agree with me. This is the problem with Triple H WrestleMania matches, and I say that for all of them. He has the ability to create storylines, but can you name for me one Triple H main event match that was good?
Well, the triple threat at Mania 20.
I will say, that was probably one of the best triple threat matches. I'll give you that.
The only main event, because the three he's had, the Cena match. That was, I liked Cena, Triple H, and Batista. I actually just finished watching that. So, but they structured. Notice the shows were structured right in that case. they didn't, the crowd wasn't burned out. When you burn the crowd out like a Rock or Roman Reigns, or in this match, he's been in 3 of these similar matches. You think he would have learned by now.
Exactly, and this is my, side note fear for WrestleMania 33 too. But so Triple H is the champion, and he's coming out to face Randy Orton. He has a cool entrance. He throws a sledgehammer through the glass. I enjoyed that.
Yes.
We are in the growth of Randy Orton in his Viper days. He just stopped the Legend Killer act, so now he's going into like full Viper mode. And the match was just underdeveloped because, one, like you said, the card structure was not good, and 2, Randy Orton has a thing where if the fans aren't invested in the match, he gives up on the match.
Yep.
He doesn't go harder, and I felt as though that some of the spots they were trying. This is a blood feud, and one thing I hate about me watching wrestling as many years as I have, I hate when it's a blood feud and we start with a lockup. I don't like that.
Yeah, come on. That's just, don't insult my intelligence. It should be, I can't wait to get my hands on this guy. And
exactly.
That's how you do it.
Why are we waiting for introductions and stuff like that? It like Triple H did not have the fire that I really want to kill this guy.
Yep.
I really had to fire to kill this guy. So I do miss the punt kick. I will say I do miss the punt kick. But
yes.
The match undeveloped. Triple H hits Randy Orton with a sledgehammer and hits him with a pedigree. And 1, 2, 3, Randy Orton is added onto that list of people who won the Royal Rumble and did not win the championship. So, your thoughts on this match? And, because honestly, I was at the point where I did not even care. I can go back and watch WrestleMania 25, and I probably only watch about 5 minutes of this match and just not care because it went 24 minutes long. 24:35.
Oh, that was a long 24 minutes. Watching this live, I can remember just being like, just the crowd was dead too. I mean, you could hear a pin drop in that building.
Yes, it was. That
hurt it. And you know what also hurt it was the fact that this pre-match stipulation, if Triple H had been disqualified or been counted out during the match, he would lose the title to Orton. So why that stipulate? That was stupid. This should have been a street fight or no holds barred based on how you built the feud up going into it, and to put a stipulation like that on, there were no McMahons, no outside involved. It was just a normal match for the most part, and that I still don't get why they did that stipulation. That was so stupid.
I don't know. I think they probably thought that Triple H and Randy Orton can out-wrestle Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. I'm like, not really.
Not going to happen.
That's not going to happen ever. I don't care what decade or what era we're in. It's just not going to happen. So I really don't understand that. For your main event, the one supposed to sell the show, the last match, I just didn't agree with it, which also kind of ended a lot of people on WrestleMania to a sour note. But you know what, Daniel?
Yes.
Final grade on WrestleMania 25, the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania.
My grade, I'd go C.
Solid C?
Yeah, a solid C. And if it wasn't for Michaels Taker, we had what we had on the rest of the card. That would not be so good. So it was really saved by Michaels Taker. I enjoyed Money in the Bank and the Hardy match. That was good. And the triple threat was all right, but again, it had to follow Taker's Michaels. So, and if this card was just shuffled a little bit more and you changed some of the matches like we were suggesting, imagine how much better the show could have been.
I agree. If we had got different legends, if the Hardys got more time, if JBL and Rey Mysterio either didn't happen or they got time, and you put the Undertaker and Shawn in the main event, it made Triple H and Randy Orton a straight out street fight. I felt as though that, yeah.
There you go.
There it is right there. You would have had a damn near one of the top 5 WrestleMania of all time.
Sure, instead of just an average to, just kind of their Mania.
Exactly. So I have to. I'm going to give WrestleMania 25 a C+. I do call it one of my guilty pleasures. I enjoyed the Money in the Bank. I enjoyed Chris Jericho and the Steamboat only. Everything else was kind of crap. I enjoyed what the I enjoyed what the Hardys tried to do. Good triple threat, and of course the show steal of almost every card up until today. Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. Honestly, so that made it from a C+ to me. That they gave it that extra plus.
There you go.
To me. So, but guys, after you post down in the comments below, how did you guys enjoy WrestleMania 25? One of your favorites, one not so favorites. You guys let us know. And also, Daniel, get a plug for your channel out there because you have a very intriguing channel, and the people out there need to know about what you do on there.
Well, guys, my channel, the URL is youtube.com/DanielGiza412. I do Raw reviews, Smackdown reviews, pay-per-view reviews, the occasional NXT reviews, and all different types of videos, collaborations, of course, with people like NC and my friend Mike and who have you. So I do everything and anything and everything when it comes to professional wrestling. So it's youtube.com/DanielGiza412.
Thank you for that, Daniel. And once again, guys, you can hit the subscribe button because we're going to keep it rolling. Tomorrow is WrestleMania 26, the rematch for Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. And every day leading up to April 2nd is when you're going to get the last review from us right before we get to WrestleMania 33. Like I said, I've already reviewed WrestleMania 32. That is in my playlist of the WWE pay-per-views of 2016. I will put it in this retro review playlist as well for all the pay-per-views and everything. And so hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys should check out Daniel Giza because my man is passionate about wrestling. I recommend you check out the people that are passionate about what they like on the YouTube. I ain't gonna tell you what to watch, but I'm gonna tell you who's passionate enough that will bring some excitement to you, and Daniel is one of those guys.
Thank you.
So, yeah, not a problem. So, once again, keep it retro, guys. Don't forget about the old school because that's where I'm from is the old school. And stay right here until tomorrow when we do WrestleMania 26. And, Daniel, we are out.
Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.